Tanse, tanshe, bonjour. Nitsikasun, Susan Sinclair, ote, aguakpiu sage ganek, mina lak verti sikatik. Good day, good morning. My name is Susan Sinclair. I'm originally from Green Lake, Saskatchewan. Métis. Wamina iwigian aguakapiu sage ganek. Right now, I reside in Edmonton. Anusuma we peak squat tagwaw, uma mixtegin, patistigan kaya suge, niwakumagana igi patistatic. I'm going to share with you a little bit of the beating that my ancestors, my grandmothers, Nukumak, taught me when I was growing up in Green Lake. Nukumak igi oksnamagit tikuma mixtegi when kagiwigian ka okpigian anti lakbert. Igwa witamata gwa ki gwa uhe amasnega na uti kasih katik. Igwel igomina sapunigan. Igwa sapunigan. Umuta pigskwi when ni hiawi when ni igwa michif isihkati umuta he. Sapunigan igwel umuta. Sapunigan igwel umuta kasih katik fil igomina asapap fil igomina asapap thread umuta kiwapahtin tapahta uma isih katik fil igomina asapap awuta isih kasut fil igomina asapap fil asapap, which is the thread. Umuta pakuyanigin, which is fabric that I'll be using today. Uyapatektayanuma pakuyanigin. Uhe rasad igomina mikisak. There's more than one. Piyak ni sonesto. Igomina umuta askitagwaw mikis. Uma it's supposed to be yellow, sorry. And then kunawanigin uge pink. Gomina ikomuta tapahta wapahta tapahta umuta he piak niso nesto newo nianan wapikwani igwa mina isihkati flor igwa mina nipihkan la flor. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to say flower. Newo, pixquiwina, uma, kasihkati. Flor, wapikwani, ni pescan, igual la flor. La flor. La flor uma isihkatik. So this obviously is a flower. Igumina kaya suma nukum kasihkat sut kidu yapatihtat manoha la flor. A long time ago, my grandmother, Kidu, used to use the flower design when she made anything at all. That was her pattern. Egomina, uyapatihtaya, uma askomana yapatihtaya, uma pahkigin. 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 That's leather. Umamina kasihkati kapatihtayan mana lisizu. Lisizu. Egwa pasquahamatawin. Isihkati gwa. Pasquahamatawin lisizu. No kumano ma kaya sige wihtamag uya kaya wangis ki kuma sisi ka apatihtayin lisizu. A long time ago, my great-grandmother said to use your scissors, hold it this way when you're passing it. Here's the Cree word and the Michif word for lisizu. I hope you can see it. Mugoma mina kaya sumagi igiosihtayan uma nikosis Jared isihkasut mina isihkasut pi suawasis. I made this jacket a long time ago for my son Jared. Tapahta. Wapahta uma. Minagwan. Kaya si suma migwat suma nikosis Jared pi suawasis I tahtuponit nistano ainani wasap. Right now my son's 28 years old. Uma pahkigin miskutage dinagwana uhe apatistigana kay kawangis uma isihkatik lisizu. Lisizu pasquahamatawin. Lisizu pasquahamatawin. Piagwan auta fil Igwa asapap. Phil, igwa asapap isihkasu. Ugwa umuta asapap le phil. Asapap le phil. Uma umuta isihkatik. Iguel Egwamina sapungan. Sapungan. Isihkatik, that's a needle. Ugwa awa mikis. Mikis. Minak suta. Mikis. Egwami rasad. Rasad. That's a bead. Egwama pahkigin. Pahkigin, which is leather. Igoma pakuyanagin. Pakuyanagin, this is fabric. Pakuyanagin, igwawa isihkatik ni pihkan la flor. Flore, igwawa pikwani. Flore. Wapikwani ni pihkan igual la flor, which is a flower. This one has different ways to say it. Igua. Asen gisistan. Kamatistano. Umuta. Kamixtegia. Kindawistin umuta. Asapap igomina. Fil. Sapungan. Asen gisistan. Igoma. Kindawistin. Pakuyanigin. Uta kamatihtan. Umsise. Uta tapahta. Musti. Kaastan. Sipa umuta. Pakuyanigin. Kapit. Astan umuta. Asa papigurasad. Egua. Niso. Miksa. Rasad. Egua may naisikaso to rasad. Niso. Umsise. Katutin. Katistegan umuta. Umsise. Tapahta. Egua. Gomina. Si sekatutin. Egua. Kaiwan gis katapa tama. Umuta. Tacking it down is what they call it. Gomina. Sipa. Piasta. Pita ispimik. Egua kaiwan gisk sika. I'm only using one needle today. Sorry, I should have explained that. It's a lot easier. My grandmother Kidu. I'm gonna just share with you a little bit about her today. Kayasuma Kidu. Kitu kasih kasu. Kidu in Michif igwa Kitu in Plains Cree or Northern Cree. She was kwak piu sage genek mina lakvert. Igwa kayasuma nohkum Kidu. Igi wihtamagwa kai kawan gisksin kapiksquien uma Michif. Igwamina ni hiawiwin. Ni stomana igi mixtegit. She always used to be sewing, beading. Igwa tan tahtote igi tapahta nisto giwapmak nohkum. Akfute gui tipago itahtopun yan mana igiwap makawakitu nisto mana igi mixtegi tumsise ego wihtamut kai kawan gisksiano mak katuta mano muta ego mina kai kawan gisksiano makapikskiano mani yawiwan ego machif ego Gastitna mano ma mixa. Right now I'm trying to gather these or catch these beads umuta sapun kan igwa mina lefil. Igwa mina igwil. So I just said right now I'm trying to catch these beads and put them on the thread and the needle. Sometimes that's a chore, especially when you're in an awkward position. But anyway, doing the best that we can. Nigominawa. Nuhkum ki duigo nuhkum Gigi kasi kaso. Gigi awa. E michif. We are michif. Igo kai. Igo wistamina si semana. Igi mixtegit.
The paper is mine. Thanks, sister.
Yeah. The circle, mami, mi guati mixtegian. I'm beating a circle. Iwasagam mixtegian. I'm beating in a circle. Iwasagam mixtegian. Tesco. Kigatsin gisitan. I can't remember a word for tacking it down because that wasn't in our vocabulary back then. So I guess we could eventually make up a word, but I feel it's important to have some words that are genuine in our own words that were passed on instead of just. It's important to go with the times, but it's also remember to try and keep our languages as traditional as possible. Yeah. Tapahta. Wapahta. The circle igomina wasaga mixtegian miguatsumuta. Apitsah kamimuyan. I'm still going steady is what I'm saying. Yeah, pits. Mixtegian kigatsin gisi tano muta wapikwani. La circle. Igomina wasagam mixtegian kigatsi gisihtayan umawasagam mixtegiwin. I'm just about done beating the circle. Kayasu makagi mixtegian. It's been a while since I beat it, but you know, once you have it, kai wan gisksin man umuta kasi katasih kamano ma. Kaya asisuma. Igigisih tayan sise. Igi mixtegian. Ingominawa squeal. Kagisih kasit sibak. Igi we get Green Lake. Ingomin we stana. Nistogi mixtegit. There was this lady named Tibak. She lived in Green Lake, and this was something she did for a living. She used to sell gauntlets, astisaki, maskisina, moccasins, and gloves. Yeah. Tapahta. Mixa. Asapap. Igomina sapungan. Igwa. Phil. Iguil. Igwil. Igomuta. Pagkoyanigin. Igohe. Rasad. Igo miksa. Uhuta he. Tapahta. Rasad uhuta. Miguati mixtegian. Sipa awa. Asapap. Igomina. Ispimehkis paye. Sapun ganigwa. Asapap. I went to get some beads and I put some more on the thread using the needle. Sipa ispimehki kiapits. Itu teman igomina. Sipa kigatsin gisihtan. I'm almost done this part. This is the part that takes the longest because you're just setting up your quinasoma. This is the one needle. Here, tapahta. Le circle, le cirque, egomina. Wawa. Wasagam mixa. So this is a circle of beads. Igual a circle. Kisihta no aseo muta. Gua sipa oma sapun guan egomina igual. Natutinum si sehem. Sipa. Natahkuptin. I'll tie it. Natahkuptin sise. I'm making tying it at the bottom. Sipa. Nitahkuptin o awa asapap. Sipa. Nitahkuptau awa asapap. Feel. Sipa oma pakoyanigin. I just tied a knot with the thread below the fabric. Egua. Wiapatihtayan oma. Lesizu paskohamatawin kasih katik. Iwi mansaman awa asapap. Iwi manswak awa asapap. Sise. Mansaman. Mansaman or mansa is cut or cutting. Hey, tapahta. Iwi mansak awa asapap. Igwamina. Feel. Tapahta. Ia patihtayan. Lesizu. Igwamina isihkatik paskwahamatawin. Tapahta. Imansaman. Imansak awa. Feel igwa asapap. Imanswak awa asapap igwa feel. Oste pagoyanikin. I cut the thread from the fabric using the scissors. Igisistaya uma the circle Iguamina Wasagamia Ohuta Mixa Wasagampaya Ohe Mixa. We made a circle out of beads. Iwitahko tak awa Phil igwa asapap. Iwitahko tak o awa asapap igumina isikasot Phil. I'm making a knot or tying the thread. Itahkup tak awa Phil igumini asapap. Tapi tapahta. Tahkup tamanu muta. I made a knot. Guacamatitano oma. And this is the one that has 5 different ways to say flower. Flor wapikwani ni pihkan la flor. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 ways. Sorry, pardon me. Flor wapikwani ni pihkan igual la flor. Kamatitano iguanma. Gamina imatitayano muta sipa. Ipitaman awa. Phil igua asapap ispimik. So I started with the thread underneath sipa. Pakuyan again. And brought it to the top or tahust is another way to say it. Wina taman si pihksu egwamina leblo mixa uta sapungan igual. Egwa umsise ya está yan umuta. Paguyan again. This is the way I'm putting this on the fabric. Yeah. Lablo ego sipihkuan. Sipihksu mixa. Sipihksu ego lablo mixa. Mikisa. Look at these 6. Nikutwa 6 mikisa. We astayan umuta pakuyan again. I'm going to put these 6 beads on the fabric. We astayan uma sapungan igwa igual. Sipa pakuyan again. I'm putting down the beads. Ispimik ipitaman sapunigan iwamina asapap. Up and through. Ispimik. Here. Tapahta. Sapunigan igual umuta mixa iguawa asapap. Mixa sipiksu mikis igua leblo rasad. Rasad. Yeah. Tapahta. Kiapits. Kaikawan gisk siekoma. Mikstegiwin. Kaya sisuge. Nuhkomakmana. Igiapatihta to suniamis. Our grandmothers used to use beading to make extra money to bring food to the table and whatever else, or traded. And don't forget, it takes a little bit of time to do this. So, no kumawa kidu. My grandmother Kidu used to sit there for hours beside her table and sew and bead so that she could make extra money to be able to trade or to buy what she needed that she didn't have money for. And many hours were spent sitting beside her, learning how to do this trade. Mr. Tepaigana, many hours, that's what I said, Mr. He, lots of hours or many hours were spent. Mikstegia, many hours were spent beading and learning how to bead. And she used 2 needles or she used 1. And for this purpose, I chose to use 1 because it's faster and it's easier to tack. The old tricks of the trade. I'm not sure if we'll have time to finish this whole project, but tapahta. You see the different omuta, iwasagampaye koma, miksa, wapusawisu, miksa, yellow gold beads going in a circle. Egwa ohe si pihkisu, egwa menela blue, miksa. Higatsin gisihtan mota. I'm almost finished this 1 leaf, 1 petal of this pattern. Egwa. Let's do this again 1 more time. Igwil, sapungan, igwil, sapungan, asapap, fil, isihkati kumutahe, fil, asapap, igwil, sapungan, umuta, isihkatik, paguyanigin, uhe, isihkatik, mikis, rasad, mikis. When you're talking about more than 1, you say miksak. So that's a bunch of beads. And these beads are going in a circle. So I'd say wasagampaye, miksa. These are beads in a circle. Ohe, this is the color of the bead. Si pihkisu, egwa leblo. So we're going to do a petal. Egohe, kigats, we mansaman, oma, asapap, egwa fill. Pretty soon I'm going to cut this thread so that we can thread another needle. Sapungan. Let's just go over these words again. El sizu o maisikatik, el sizu, egomina isikatik, pasquahamatawin, el sizu, which is a scissors, umuta isikatik, pakuyanigin, this is fabric. O awa isihkasot mikis igomina rasad. This bead is called rasad mina mikis. When we have more than one bead, miksak ego rasada. Ego muta asapap ego mina fill isihkatik fill ego asapap isihkatik umuta isihkatik igual egomina isihkatik sapunigan egua umuta isihkatik pahkigin isihkatik como egua umuta uma isihkatik. A little bit odd looking flower, but there's 4 ways to say this. You'd say flore, wapikwani, or nipihkan, egomina la flor. Umuta isihkatik la flor, nipihkan, wapikwani, ego flore. Nipihkan la flor, igual wapikwani la flor. Isihkati kumuta. This is a flower. There's 4 ways. Newo, piksquiwin, umuta isihkatik. There's 4 ways to say flower in our languages. So nipihkan la flor, ego flore, ego wapihkwani. Yasini pito tiekota, nitsikasun Susan Sinclair Silak Bert, igimutigistayan uma mixtegiwin kaksnamagian umuta kinanaskumtin. Hi.